Born into the powerful Medici family, Bia de Medici was destined for a life of privilege and refinement, but fate had other plans. Though her time was brief, her charm and spirit left a lasting mark, captured forever in a haunting portrait that still speaks of love, loss, and legacy. This is her story. Bia de Medici was born sometime in 1536 near the city of Florence in Italy. Her father was Cosimo I de Medici, but the identity of her mother is unknown. Aside from Cosimo, only his mother, Maria Salviati, knew the identity of Bia's mother, but she never revealed it and took the secret to her grave. Some believe she may have been a peasant who worked for the family at their home, Via del Trebio, though it's more widely believed that she was an unnamed Florentine noblewoman. To better understand her story, we must first look at the powerful family she came from. The Medici originated in the Magella region in Tuscany and rose through trade before founding the Medici Bank, the largest in Europe during the 15th century. This wealth paved the way for their political dominance in Florence under Cosimo de' Medici and his grandson, Lorenzo the Magnificent. Yet, they remained citizens in name, and it wasn't until 1532 that the family secured the hereditary title of Duke of Florence, marking their transformation into true rulers. As a member of a junior branch of the Medici family, Bia's father Cosimo had grown up in the Tuscan countryside, destined for a respectable but likely quiet life away from the political spotlight. Yet, everything was about to change. On the 6th of January 1537, Alessandro de' Medici, Duke of Florence, was assassinated by Lorenzino de' Medici, a man who was both his cousin and friend. Alessandro, just 26 years old, had no legitimate heirs, and so at just 17, Cosimo, previously a political outsider, was unexpectedly named the new Duke of Florence. Many of Florence's most powerful men had thrown their support behind young Cosimo, convinced he would be easy to manipulate. But they had gravely underestimated him. Behind his reserved demeanour was a fierce resolve. With calculated precision, Cosimo seized control, outmaneuvering rivals and tightening his grip on power. In the shadowed corridors of the Palazzo Vecchio, he began to reshape the future of Florence, laying down the foundation for what would one day become the mighty Grand Duchy of Tuscany. Yet, as he forged his empire, the young duke's private life came to light. By the time Cosimo seized power, his mysterious daughter Beia was nearing her first birthday. Far from hiding her, Cosimo claimed her as his own and brought her into the fold of the Medici household. She was initially raised in Florence within the protective walls of the Medici palace, with trusted nurses caring for her. As a young duke, Cosimo now turned his gaze towards marriage, not for love, but for power and to secure his line. The Medici name still carried the scent of merchant wealth and recent nobility, and Cosimo knew he needed a wife whose bloodline could anchor his authority in Europe's aristocratic circles. His eyes fell upon Eleonora di Toledo, the beautiful daughter of the Spanish viceroy of Naples. Their union was one of pure strategy, sealed by a lavish dowry and the quiet promise of Spanish backing. They were married by proxy on the 29th of March 1539, and within months, Eleonora arrived in Florence to meet her young husband, and with him, his cherished 2-year-old daughter Beia. With Eleonora's arrival, Florence glittered with renewed grandeur. Barely 18, the Spanish noblewoman stepped into her role as Duchess with confidence. But court whispers soon turned toward her relationship with Cosimo's daughter. Some claimed Eleonora resented the presence of Beia, a child who had already captivated her husband's heart. Perhaps it was jealousy, who could say? Yet others remembered a gentler truth, that Eleonora treated Beia with kindness, even affection. And indeed, most historians lean toward this version of the story, that the Duchess, far from cold, welcomed the little young girl into her new household with grace. But her time here wouldn't last. Whatever the truth of her place in Eleonora's affections, one thing is certain. Bia was sent to live at the Villa di Castello, her family's estate nestled in the hills just beyond Florence. There, far from the formalities of court life, Bia spent her days under the watchful, experienced eye of her grandmother, Maria Salviati. Some might see her being sent away as cruel, but Bia wasn't alone here. At Castello, she shared both her home and bedroom with Giulia de Medici, the illegitimate daughter of the slain Duke Alessandro. As Bia grew up, she and Giulia became inseparable, more like sisters than distant cousins. Just 2 years older, she was both her companion and protector, and together they brought a spark of life to the old estate. Bia soon earned a reputation as a radiant and spirited child, charming, lively, and just mischievous enough to keep her nurses on edge. Her playful nature and quick wit won over everyone, but none more so than her father. Cosimo, now burdened by the weight of ruling a city, would slip away from court just to visit her, finding in Bia tender joy that no money or power could replace. But with the pregnancy of his wife, one question lingered. Would his love for Bia endure, or would his legitimate heirs now get all the attention? By now, Cosimo and Eleonora were firmly installed at the ducal court and had turned their attention to producing legitimate heirs who would one day inherit their titles and lands. In 1540, Eleonora gave birth to the couple's first child, Maria, and the following year, Cosimo was thrilled when a healthy son and heir, Francesco, the future Grand Duke of Tuscany, was born. Many would have now expected Bia, born outside of wedlock, to fade into the background and have a different upbringing, but this wasn't the case. When Maria and Francesco were old enough, they too were sent to Villa di Castello under the care of their grandmother and a circle of devoted nurses. It was there, far from the politics of Palazzo Vecchio, that Cosimo's children were raised together, in a world of order, education and affection, with occasional visits from their parents, who were busy ruling Florence. To elevate the Medici to the ranks of Europe's great ruling houses, Cosimo spared no effort in shaping his children's futures, and that included Bia. By the age of 4, she likely began her formal education, with mornings devoted to religious instruction and afternoons filled with lessons in manners, embroidery, and music. She would have also begun to learn the basics of Tuscan, and even her playtime was carefully structured, overseen by nurses and tutors who planned to mould her into the image of a refined Florentine girl. In later years, her younger siblings would follow a similar path, their every step overseen by Cosimo and Eleonora, right down to their clothes and tutors. But for Bia, all the care, the teaching, the promise would come to nothing. One day in the late winter of 1542, Cosimo planned a trip to the Tuscan town of Arezzo and decided to bring his beloved Bia along. It was a rare chance for father and daughter to enjoy precious moments together, away from courtly demands. During those days they were inseparable, but as they made their way home that February, fate turned cruel. Soon after returning to Villa di Castello, both Bia and Giulia were struck by a sudden high fever. Cosimo made sure he sent the best doctors to attend to them, but the widespread epidemics, underdeveloped medicine, and poor hygiene meant the odds were against them. Still, Giulia slowly recovered, but Bia's condition only got worse. Cosimo was frantic, sending orders for constant updates as his cherished daughter slipped further from reach. From February 25th to the 28th, her decline was swift and heartbreaking. A court official wrote grimly, "Tomorrow will be a much sadder day." On March 1st, 1542, Bia passed away, likely from malaria. She was just 6 years old. Her death was deeply mourned by Giulia, her grandmother, and especially her father. Beia was laid to rest with honour in the Medici family crypt at San Lorenzo. Forever among the dynasty, she had briefly brightened. 6 months after Beia's death, a new light entered Cosimo's life. His daughter Isabella was born. Though many expected him to hope for a second son, those who knew him best understood the depth of his sorrow. Historian Paolo Giovio captured the sentiment in a tender letter. "I congratulate you on the beautiful baby girl God has conceded to you, in recompense for the one he has taken to join him in paradise." Isabella would soon become Cosimo's new favourite, and his marriage to Eleonora remained strong and affectionate. They were blessed with 9 more children, though many, like Beia, would also meet tragically short fates. Still, the shadow of Beia's brief life never fully left them. After her death, it's widely believed that Cosimo, stricken with grief, had a plaster death mask made of Beia, and then commissioned a posthumous portrait from the brilliant court painter Agnolo Bronzino. The result is a hauntingly tender image, a young girl adorned in white and pearls, radiant and serene, captured not in life, but in memory. Many consider it one of Bronzino's greatest works. As the poet Tullio d'Aragona once described the portrait, it enshrines a grace that entices, absorbs, and captivates whoever experiences it. Today, the portrait of Beia hangs in the Uffizi Gallery in Florence, where her luminous presence continues to captivate those who stand before her. The delicate medallion bearing Cosimo's profile worn by the girl in the portrait helped confirm the subject's identity as his daughter and emphasize their bond. Originally, the painting hung in the Medici family chambers, serving as both a tender reminder of their lost child and as a spiritual symbol, guiding them in reflection and the hope of salvation. For centuries, the painting was mistakenly thought to depict Maria de Medici, Beia's legitimate younger sister. This confusion led some to assume Beia was simply a nickname for Maria. In reality, it was most likely a diminutive of her given name Bianca, which means white in Italian, though some have also speculated it might come from bambina, meaning little girl. The truth wasn't discovered until 1893, when art historian Cosimo Conti uncovered archival evidence confirming the existence of a separate daughter, Beia, born to Cosimo before his marriage, and so the portrait's true subject was finally restored to her rightful name. Another portrait, this one by Jacopo da Pontorno, depicts Maria Salviati seated with a young child in her lap. For years, scholars debated the child's identity. Was it Beia, Giulia de Medici, or someone else? Those who argued for Beia pointed to the child's features, noting they did not resemble the known portrait of the adult Giulia, and questioned whether Maria Salviati's relationship with Giulia was intimate enough to inspire such a tender image. However, after much scholarly debate and closer examination of historical context, the consensus today favours Giulia as the subject. Each year, the Uffizi Gallery in Florence attracts over 3 million visitors annually, and most likely pass by Beia's portrait without ever learning her story. I myself had the pleasure of seeing her portrait around a month ago, which inspired me to investigate her life and make this video. So on that note, thank you so much everyone for watching this video. I hope you found it interesting. Let me know what you thought of her life down below in the comments, and if you want more videos like this or on the Medici family, also let me know down below in the comments. I hope all of you are subscribed and have notifications turned on to get all my videos as soon as I upload them. Anyway, that's all from me, so I'll see all of you in the next Forgotten Life. Thanks.